Coverage you can count on. This is Channel 3 Eyewitness News at 11.
One, two, three, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
I got elected and they told me I had to go through with it.
Whiskey or something like that?
Oh, yeah. Well, so I had to, he was helping me.
With coverage you can count on, this is Channel 3 Eyewitness News at 11.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Greg Glover.
And I'm Cindy Sexton. A local group is one step closer to creating a permanent memorial to honor Ed Johnson. He was unjustly accused of raping a white woman and lynched on the Walnut Street Bridge in 1906.
Tonight, some community members were able to discuss what they want the memorial to look like. Channel 3's Tanisha Cordell has more. Tanisha.
Well, Greg, members of the Ed Johnson Project picked 3 semifinalists to design the memorial last month. Now, all 3 of them met with the community tonight at the Camp House downtown. Now, the semifinalists are not from Chattanooga, but they each told the crowd they're excited to be a part of the creative process of the Ed Johnson Memorial. Now, after they were introduced, community members shared their thoughts on the memorial. Many of them say they want it to be welcoming, interactive, and truly depict what happened to Ed Johnson. We spoke with one of the semifinalists who says the memorial is important for the city of Chattanooga.
These truths, as difficult as they may be, need to be put on the table and talked about if we're ever going to have a sense of healing. These are untreated wounds, and so no wonder we're having a hard time.
Now, the semifinalists will take tonight's suggestions home with them and present their designs in February. A winner will be picked soon after. Now, if you don't know, Johnson was buried at Pleasant Garden Cemetery. It's off of Shallowford Road. Now, many other African Americans who made significant achievements here in Chattanooga are buried there as well. Coming up at 11:14, see how some people are working together to restore the grounds. Live in the studio, Tanisha Cordell, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Thanks, Tanisha. We now know why the Grundy County Sheriff's Sheriff's Office requested 5 years worth of reports from the Grundy County school system. Now, this comes nearly 3 weeks after 5 football players were charged with attempting to rape a teammate. Grundy County Sheriff Clint Schramm says he's heard unconfirmed reports that people in the school system may have been aware of prior incidents that were never reported. He says this is why the director of schools, Jesse Kinsey, was served a subpoena requesting records of reported abuse over the past 5 years. If abuse was not reported, it could violate mandatory reporting laws.
They need to understand how to look for signs of abuse. They need to understand, most importantly, what it takes to report to the department.
If a person knows about abuse and does not report it, he or she can be charged with a misdemeanor, which carries a sentence of up to 3 months in jail and a fine. Everyone in Tennessee is a mandated reporter under state law. Any person with reasonable cause to believe a child is being abused or neglected must immediately report it to the Tennessee Department of Children's Services or to local law enforcement. The person reporting can remain anonymous.
A South Pittsburgh police officer is on leave tonight, accused of sexually assaulting a woman while on duty. Marion County deputies were called to a local hospital Friday night where a woman had reported the assault. Officials would not release the name of the officer accused nor any details of the incident that's alleged. They would only say the officers worked for the department part-time over the last 4 months after being reserve officer for nearly 3 years and has no prior complaints. Sheriff Ronnie Bo Burnett tells us this case will be handled no different than any other.
Anytime anything like this happens, community loses trust, and I don't want that. There's bad employees in every type of work, and if one has done something, even a police officer done something wrong, then he faces the same thing as anybody else.
TBI is assisting the sheriff's office with their investigation. No charges have yet been filed. Stay with us on air and online as we learn more.
New at 11, the trial date has been pushed back for Tad Cummins, the former Columbia school teacher accused of taking a 15-year-old student across state lines for sex. The trial is set for April 17th. It had been scheduled to start January 2nd. Cummins has been in federal court since his arrest in California in April, 38 days after he and the girl left Tennessee. Police say he told them he took her across state lines for sex. Federal prosecutors expect the trial to last up to 7 days, but have asked the judge to block off 2 weeks. The Dalton Police Department needs your help identifying these 2 women accused of shoplifting. Police say the 2 worked together to steal more than $100 in merchandise from the Kohl's on Sugar Road. Police say the women took the merchandise into a dressing room together and left behind just empty boxes. Police believe the 2 are driving a white-colored small SUV. If you know who these 2 women are, you're asked to call police.
Today we got a first look at charges filed in the ongoing Russia investigation. 2 former Trump campaign aides, Paul Manafort and Rick Gates, each face now a dozen charges. And a former advisor pleaded guilty to lying about his meetings with Russians while working for the campaign. NBC's Blaine Alexander was at the hearing and has more.
Former Trump campaign manager Paul Manafort and his deputy Rick Gates out on bond and on house arrest after pleading not guilty to charges in special counsel Robert Mueller's investigation into Russian election interference. We are also learning former campaign advisor George Papadopoulos secretly pleaded guilty earlier this month to lying to the FBI. The plea agreement says he was communicating with a Kremlin-connected Russian who promised dirt on Hillary Clinton, then lied about it all to the FBI. The White House distancing the administration from Papadopoulos.
He was a volunteer member of an advisory council that literally met one time.
Manafort and Gates are accused of lobbying for pro-Russian Ukrainians and not paying taxes on tens of millions of dollars. They're facing 12 charges, including conspiracy against the United States, conspiracy to launder money, and making false and misleading statements. The indictment makes no mention of President Trump or Russian meddling in the election.
Well, I think you all saw today that President Donald Trump was correct. There is no evidence that Mr. Manafort or the Trump campaign colluded with the Russian government.
On Twitter, the president emphatically repeating there was no collusion, saying about his former campaign manager it was years ago, before Manafort was part of the campaign. And both Manafort and Gates could face some pretty steep prison time if convicted. Just money laundering alone could bring a penalty of up to 20 years in prison. Blaine Alexander, NBC News, Washington.
Another news from the feds, the FBI says all its previously withheld files on the John F. Kennedy assassination have been authorized for release. By law, all government documents related to the assassination were to be released last Thursday, but just before that happened, President Donald Trump said he had, quote, no choice but to agree to requests from the CIA, the FBI, and other agencies to continue withholding some documents to protect national security and individual identities. Well, all remaining records are to be released in the coming weeks.
It's been a chilly couple of days in the Tennessee Valley.
It's nice to see that temperature spike up above 60, though, today, wasn't it? Paul Bears is live in the Storm Alert Center to give us a little peek at the rest of the week. Paul?
Right now it's about 48 degrees and crystal clear skies. Really a pretty night out there. Lots of stars and humidity levels very, very low. On the bus stop forecast, it's going to be clear in the morning and temperatures are not going to be as cold as they've been. 42, I think, for that low. 3 o'clock should be about 60 with mostly sunny skies. So it's going to be cool. Look at the satellite photo. Again, most of the clouds are off to the north up into Kentucky. And I think as the moisture tries to come south, it's really not going to make it. And we're going to have pretty much clear skies all night long. The latest Vipercast is showing the front passing and some cooler air moving in for tomorrow. So it should be maybe a couple degrees cooler than it was today. By 5 o'clock tomorrow, a lot of sunshine once again, so it's going to be a nice day. Now, Vipercast is painting a few sprinkles early Wednesday morning, but I doubt it. I really don't see that happening. If it does happen, it'll be a couple hundredths of an inch at the very, very most. By Wednesday, 5 o'clock, partly cloudy to mostly cloudy skies north of the city, and then a lot more clouds coming up into Thursday. By Thursday morning, most of the showers will be out west, but that rain will gradually move our way. Right now, again, it is 48 degrees. I've got the complete 7-day forecast in just a few minutes.
Okay, Paul, thank you. After the break here on Eyewitness News at 11, a mom makes a shocking discovery in her child's Halloween candy.
Plus, Netflix is canceling one of its most popular shows following sexual abuse allegation. This might shake you up a little bit. A bag of meth was found in Halloween candy that was collected over the weekend. The drugs were discovered by the child's mother. This was in Wisconsin. According to reports, she found the yellow bag of powder with the candy after a child went trick-or-treating on the Indian reservation there. Luckily, the child didn't ingest any of the substance. Police are currently investigating. They're asking parents to pay close attention to anything that looks suspicious in that candy bag, especially tomorrow night.
Netflix says its political drama House of Cards will end after its upcoming 6th season. The announcement came on the heels of a sexual abuse allegation against series star Kevin Spacey. Actor Anthony Rapp alleged that Spacey tried to seduce him in 1986 when Rapp was a young teenager. In a statement, Spacey apologized for any drunken misbehavior and also came out as gay. The final season of House of Cards is in production.
Coming up on Eyewitness News at 11.
And then you see that these are graves here. But
in the middle of trees and just brush.
Right.
Some people are working to make changes at a local forgotten cemetery. Channel 3's Tanisha Cordell has more on their efforts next.
With coverage you can count on, this is Channel 3 Eyewitness News at 11.
A forgotten Chattanooga cemetery has turned into a frightening place. Some people are trying to restore it, though.
Pleasant Garden Cemetery opened in 1891 and closed in 1970, some 80 years later. Some of the most significant African-American men and women of Chattanooga are buried there. Channel 3's Tanisha Cordell walked the grounds with a family member and has more.
After learning that he was buried here, it was almost like he was beckoning me to come and be a part of this and in some way continue his legacy of serving others.
No headstones, no markings. Tree limbs outline this group of graves in Pleasant Garden Cemetery off Shallerford Road. Many are sinking. Some are coming out of the ground. This is one of two places LaFrederick Thurkill says his great-grandfather could be buried. But finding his grave has been impossible.
Right here. You see that one?
Yeah.
And then you see that these are graves here. But
in the middle of trees and just brush.
Right.
Thurkill says the people buried here make this place historic. Among them, Chattanooga's first black music teacher, Lula Kennedy, Dr. Thomas William Hagler, one of Chattanooga's first black surgeons, and Lionel Richie's great-grandfather. But these grounds also highlight the city's dark past. Ed Johnson is buried here. He was hung on the Walnut Street Bridge. So are Andrew and Leroy Wright, two of the 4 Chattanoogans falsely accused of raping 2 white women in the well-known Scottsboro case.
These people made significant contributions to life, and to allow them to lay in such disarray is disrespectful.
Pleasant Gardens was sold 3 years after it opened. It fell into the hands of many owners who let it go. Volunteers like Thurkill tried to help.
You know, when we first came up, we'd had to wade our way through brush, thick brush. And now, even though it's not fully restored, the condition that it's in now is much, much better than it was when we started in 1999.
Thurkill attempted to make the cemetery a public land trust more than a decade ago so the city could care for it. But the owners wouldn't sign over the property. The cemetery is not registered with the state because it's closed, so it hasn't been inspected. Thurkill takes it on to care for the property, but knows he can't do it alone.
We got to consciously make sure that the land is not encroached upon and that more people become aware of it. More people become aware of it. And I think that as we do that, then we can continue to think of ways that we can ensure that the cemetery is preserved.
We have reached out to the cemetery's owner who lives out of town. We have not heard back. As far as the cemetery's future, we're told the city plans to include Pleasant Gardens in this year's Martin Luther King Day of Service. Tennessee, the state of Tennessee, tells us the DA could bring action in Chancery Court to remedy violations of certain cemetery statutes.
It was freezing cold last night. You may have used your fireplace for the first time this season, or at least you thought about it. They could be dangerous, though, unless your chimneys have been cleaned. The Chattanooga Fire Department recommends have a professional chimney sweep, clean residue buildup from inside that chimney once a year. Heating equipment is the second leading cause of house fires across the U.S. after cooking fires, according to the U.S. Fire Administration. Chimney fires account for 75% of all house fires. Thankfully, next couple of nights you might not need, so it's a perfect time to get something done, right?
Yeah, get the chimney clean, open the windows at night and enjoy it, right?
That's right. Be ready for the next dip in temperatures because it's just around the corner, Paul.
Well, it's not in the next 7 days. That's a good thing. It's going to be warming up quite a bit. Things are looking a little bit better. Now, it's going to be cool tomorrow. It'll still be around 60, 61, or 62, but it's going to be warmer on Wednesday and probably even warmer into Thursday and Friday and into the weekend. Temperatures will get back into the 70s, but there could be some showers starting on Thursday. Right now, all the sprinkles are off to the north, and they're really fading. A little bit of light snow, especially up along the Great Lakes, but again, not that much happening. Pretty quiet across most of the country after a really rough weekend, especially up in New England, where over 1 million people lost power due to a storm that was well predicted up and moving up through Long Island all the way into southern New England. 48 right now in the city, 49 Altamont, 50 in Cleveland, while it's 39 in Athens, 45 in Dalton, and about 37 out in New Murphy. Winds calm, 65 and 30 the high and the low for today, and no rain. 64 in Dalton, it was 64 at Calhoun, 63 in Varnell, 60 in Blue Ridge and LJ, that's pretty good. Fort Mountain, 54 degrees. They got to about 31 yesterday for a high in Fort Mountain. That's pretty cold. That's like January stuff. 65 Red Bank, 67 in North Chattanooga, and 62 up in Soddy Daisy, while Cleveland got up to 63. East Ridge and Ringgold were 60. Then in Spring City, we had 63. Pikeville was 65. Dayton and 10 Mile both at 60. Murphy hit 57. So did Turtletown, and Jasper got up to about 65. All right, that cold front's moving in late tonight. The winds will be shifting tomorrow, more out of the north. High pressure is going to be building in, so we'll still see lots of sunshine, maybe a few high clouds. Now into Wednesday, Vipercast is painting again a few sprinkles. I don't think that'll happen. I think just clouds. But the winds will be coming up out of the south on Wednesday. That's going to increase the temperature, even though we're going to see some clouds. And then maybe a sprinkle coming up into Thursday, a small chance. This is Thursday night. Coming up into Friday, a little better chance for some scattered showers, but still about 20%. Tonight, 42 with clear skies, and for tomorrow, 61, mostly sunny. And then for tomorrow night, 45 with the clouds increasing a bit. And on the 7-day forecast, Halloween looks fine tomorrow. 65 coming up on Wednesday, and look at that low of 45. Now, Thursday morning, a low of 54, and again, a slight chance for a shower, about a 20% chance. Same thing into Friday, and about 73. with lows near 60. Now that's going to be a big changeover. Then Saturday, again, a small chance for some showers, widely scattered, 74. Time change Saturday night. Sunday looks good, 73. Monday looks good at 71. So a little blast of cold air came in.
Yeah.
Just said old man winter is getting out of bed.
Just to make us pay attention.
That's right.
It worked.
Okay.
Paul, thanks. Up next in sports, UT Athletic Director John Currie talks for the first time about the hot seat Butch Jones is sitting on.
That'll be interesting. Plus, a meet and greet with the basketball Mocs. Fans got a special treat today inside the Roundhouse. Paul Shaheen has next.
Coming up Tuesday morning on Eyewitness News Today.
We're going to share some Halloween fun facts, like did you know bats have belly buttons?
Who knew? We'll tell you about that. Also, some road closures happening in Cleveland for the Halloween block party. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 4:30.
I understand everybody being upset, and if I was a fan. I understand everybody being upset, and if I was a fan, I'd be upset too, so I bleed with them.
For the first time in Butch Jones' head coaching career, his win total from one year to the next will regress. By how much, that remains to be determined, but the loss to Kentucky guaranteed it. It also guarantees Jones will continue to be asked about his future at Tennessee.
Going back to Saturday night, you had said that you felt absolutely had the support of Curry. In the last 36 hours, how's that changed, if at all?
Nothing has changed at all.
You said you speak with Curry every day. Have you been given any reassurances about your status beyond this season?
All we do is we talk about day by day and week by week. And that's been the constant theme since he came here. And again, our conversations are from anything to everything.
In the meantime, there's a rally on social media to leave Neyland Stadium empty during Saturday's homecoming with Southern Miss. They're using the hashtag #EmptyNeyland. And new tonight, AD John Currie was on the Vol Network's Big Orange program Hotline. It's on the radio where he said, quote, "I know folks are frustrated with the one-loss record. I am too. Coach Jones is. We all are. I believe right now the most important thing to do is support our players." End quote. The first college football playoff poll of the season comes out in less than 24 hours, which means the AP and coaches poll mean basically nothing. Unless you're Nick Saban, as expected, they all mean nothing. Every single one of them, including polls that haven't even been created yet.
I could care less about the poll. I mean, what significance does a poll have right now? I mean, all we're talking about here is the challenge of our season and where are we going to be in the poll if we don't play well in the next 4 games. If our players think anything of it, then that could be a problem and an issue too. And, you know, these are the things that we try to categorize as poison that you really don't want your players to be focusing on or thinking about. But I appreciate you asking so I could get this off my chest.
Is it a new side to Nick Saban? Thanking a reporter for a question that did fire him up. Alabama will host number 19 LSU Saturday at 8 p.m. on CBS. Looking ahead now, few game times for the November 11th SEC slate. Alabama hosting Mississippi State. It'll be either 3:30 on CBS or 7 p.m. on ESPN. Georgia at Auburn, that's a big one. Either 3:30 on CBS or 7 p.m. on ESPN. Those 2 games, Alabama and the Georgia game, up to CBS. And Tennessee at Missouri. It's a cold kickoff, 7:30 on the SEC network under the lights. We're now just 5 days away from our first look at the 2017 basketball Mocs team. They have a home exhibition, believe it or not, this Saturday at 5 with Francis Marion. But before it gets too serious, it was time for a little fun. The UTC men's basketball team held a meet and greet today with fans and season ticket holders alike. There were pictures to be had, autographs, a shoot around with kids and players alike.
You get to come out here with the little kids, get to show them a few things, play a little tough defense on them. You know, yeah, it is. We get a rough on them, but it's nice, a good experience. Just fun all and overall.
How many blocks you got today?
I actually got 1 block today. That's all I got right now.
1 block from a 7-year-old.
Yeah, he was
right?
joking. And I could say this because anyone who's seen me play basketball, you know I'm not known for blocks. He's a guard. He said, yeah, I got to get him in now.
That's excellent. Good stuff.
So World Series took a break today after another record-setting home run night from last night. They're in Los Angeles tomorrow. The Dodgers need a win.
And it's funny, as good as that game was, the thing that has caught everyone's attention is the guy, the Houston fan, taking the home run ball away from the woman in the stands. That's the memorable part.
You know they're related too, right?
Get out of here.
Yes, it was his sister-in-law.
She's not even mad at it.
Nope. She said she's mad because she wanted to throw it.
She wanted to throw it back.
Good game, though. Paul Barris has your 7-day forecast when we get back.
That's going to be a pretty day and not as cold as it was for this morning. Temperatures around 42 or so in the morning. And the high temperature is probably not as warm either, only around 61, 62 degrees at best. So 7-day forecast, 61. Now Halloween, not a bad day at all. It's looking pretty good. A few more clouds Wednesday, isolated showers Thursday, Friday, maybe some scattered showers Saturday, but really warming up Thursday right into next Monday.
Favorite week of the year, you can look forward to gaining that hour of sleep,
That's
right?
right. Isn't that great?
Yes.
Yeah. I like it.
A university in Ohio has set a world record for the number of people dressed in penguin costumes.
These are students, faculty, alums at Youngstown State University. They dressed up like the school's mascot. 972 of them celebrated the 50th anniversary of the university in penguin costumes. They broke the previous record set in England when 624 people dressed as penguins.
How was their previous
There you
record?
have it.
No kidding. How did they not just go for the even thousand? Too many questions. Let's see.
I understand everybody being upset.